Then there are different methods of collecting of data. Data can be collected in different ways, like the interview, the questionnaire, the observation, and the motivational technique. Now, why it is important for the decision makers to know about research? Because they want to solve the problems, and research is the decision making tool. They want to minimize or avoid competition. They want to minimize risk. They want to minimize or optimize the investment in research, and they are hiring researchers and consultants for effective usage of all of them. Now, there is a similarity between research and scientific investigation. The process being the same, I am not repeating it. Coming to one of the tools or instruments of collecting the primary data, that is questionnaire. What is a questionnaire and how it is designed? A questionnaire is a list of questions sent to a number of persons for them to answer. A questionnaire, whether it is called a schedule, interview form, or measuring instrument, is a formalized set of questions for obtaining information from the respondents. Now, questionnaire is in empirical research, because in social science most of us are doing empirical research. Much of the data in empirical research is gathered using questionnaires or interviews. The reliability and validity of the results depend on the quality of these instruments. And it is very true that good questionnaires are difficult to construct, but bad questionnaires are difficult to analyze. Now, questionnaires are best used when there is a large sample, there are fairly straightforward information, some standardized data from identical questions, and more interested in what occurs rather than why or how, because we are getting quantitative output out of the questionnaires. There are some limitations also of the questionnaire. First of all, it is superficial, that is difficult to capture the richness of meaning. Then information is self-report, does not necessarily reflect the true behavior. Thirdly, pooling of ignorance. The respondent may be ignorant in some question, and wrong answering or choosing wrong options may differ the result or the output of the research report. Now, questionnaire can be structured, can be unstructured, can be pictorial. There are different types of questions in a questionnaire. Basically, there are two types. Open-ended question, that is the question dealing with some comments or some remarks, and closed-ended questions. Closed-ended questions, they have some options. They are again divided into two types. One is simple dichotomy, that is the questions having only two options, two answers, yes or no, and there are closed-ended questions with more than two options, which is known as multiple choice questions or MCQ, you may say. MCQ questions are also of two types. One is determinant choice, another is checklist. Suppose I want to ask you whether you like veg or non-veg food. You have two options in food habit, one is veg, another is non-veg. So it is a straight cut, simple dichotomy related closed-ended question. But if within the non-veg item I ask you which one you like most, fish, chicken, egg, others, then you have to tick on one. It is known as determinant choice. But if I ask you, among the following items, which would you like in your non-veg item? You will like one item, you will like two items, more than three items, more than four items. So when you are putting tick or clicking on more than two items, three items, four items, then it is known as checklist. So I have already discussed it. Going to the requirements for closed-ended questions. Because on the basis of response categories of each closed-ended question, you will prepare your research report based on data analyzed. So, response categories should be chosen very carefully and they should be mutually exclusive and exhaustive. For example, if you are asking the income per month of the respondents and there are two categories, category 1 rupees 1000 to 5000 per month and rupees 5000 to 10,000 per month. Now what do you expect from your respondents? They will tick for option 1 or option 2. They will be confused because in both the options rupees 5000 is there. So you have to choose carefully your option. Option 1 should be rupees 1000 to 4999 and option 2 should be rupees 5000 to rupees 9999 and so on. So these two options should be unrelated and they should be mutually exclusive. Then mutually exhaustive. In your response categories, they should include all possible response categories. Sometimes you are asked a question like this: which food do you like among the following? Number 1, fish. Number 2, meat. Number 3, chicken. Number 4, others. Now this option others, what are those? You cannot specify. So while questioning, you should be specific in your questioning. And others option could be avoided. So questionnaire construction, in your questionnaire construction you should be careful about the format, that is it should be structured. It may be unstructured but priority of the questions should be taken properly, chosen properly. Language must be very lucid and type of questions you have to be very careful about the types of questions and how do you administer them. The wording of questions should be very simple and you should be using inverted funnel approach, that is from general to specific questions. You start with the general questions and you come with the specific ones. Then question format should be very easy. Personal questions should be at the end. Double-barreled questions, that is ambiguous questions, should be avoided and questions should be helpful in tabulation and analysis. The options what you are getting, the answers what you are getting should be helpful in tabulation and analysis. And the questionnaire items, they should be very short. Keep your questionnaire within 3 to 4 pages, maximum 5 pages. Do not overcrowd your questionnaire. Provide decent margin space. Use multiple grid layout for questions with similar responses. Use good quality print paper. Use booklet form if possible. And if you are filling them through some electronic format, they should be easily legible and to be filled up easily. Some examples. The question should be in an unambiguous manner. So incorrect question is, do you think Coca-Cola is a tasty and refreshing soft drink? Such a question is a double-barrel question because this question has two parts. You are asking whether Coca-Cola is a tasty soft drink. You are asking whether Coca-Cola is a refreshing soft drink. So they are to be asked one by one, not at a time. Then, how many gallons of soft drink did you consume during the last 4 weeks? Nobody, I am sure, can answer it. On the other hand, the question should be like this: how often do you consume soft drinks in a typical week? Option 1, less than once a week. Option 2, 1 to 3 times per week. Option 3, 4 to 6 times per week. And option 4, 7 or more times per week. Now choosing wording. Avoid using unambiguous words. I have already discussed it, but you just go through the slide. Choose avoiding wrong questions. You should be trying to avoid wrong questions in your slides. No political issue, no pinpointed issue which may hurt somebody, harm somebody. Then, after you take the data, you are still in the process of formulating formulating and reiterating your research problem.